The Canadian loonie has fallen to a 12-year low after the collapse of consumer prices, sliding to 72 cents on the U.S. dollar. Factors at play in this trend, namely a drop in oil prices, which Canada, they're a major exporter, Jose. So this news, it comes as the U.S., the Fed, they've decided to raise interest rates this week. One economist, Doug Porter at Bank of Montreal, this is what he had to say about it. He said the only bigger annual decline was in the extreme conditions of 2008 when the Canadian dollar fell 18.6%, a threshold I thought I would never be approached again. So here we are back around again. 12 years ago it was this low, and then in 2008 it dipped briefly, but obviously the housing crash here impacted Canada. They're saying that it's because of oil prices. Canada's a major exporter. What do you make of that?
Yeah, some are saying that there's also speculation that is not also a sign that the Canadian currency is slowing down as much as the dollar is getting stronger. And it goes along with the fact that you mentioned interest rates are going to go up for the first time since 2008. We have the oil export ban lifted. So we see that the future of the US dollar is really, really strong compared to Canadian currency. Now, what are the implications of this for the relationship?
Well, that is a really good question. So, we do a lot of trading and a lot of business with Canada, and I was looking at this story more closely. It could impact everything from the pharmaceutical trade, because we understand that drugs are a lot cheaper in Canada. It could also import the import-export trade we have with oil. But the U.S., we've ratcheted up. We've become our own exporter of oil. The cost per barrel has dropped to just under $35 a barrel. That really hurts Canada because they're an export state, and a number of factors. And this could potentially, if this doesn't change, this could potentially have a long-standing effect on their economy, which we don't want. But at the same time, we're seeing, Canada have these really progressive policies. They have this new prime minister. They've taken a strong stance on Syrian refugees. But what does this say? That their economy compared to ours, they're not holding their own.
I think that is part also the thing that you mentioned, that it's a country that is in transition. Right now we see that there's a lot of shifting values in Canada. The new prime minister is trying to bring a lot of change. So I think this is our growing pains. And I think these are something that is part of the process of Canada becoming a stronger country. But I don't see them in trouble. I just see that there's a comparison with the dollar, that the dollar is going strong.
It's ironic that the rate hike here that the Fed announced, that we haven't done in more than a decade, we saw that rapid plummet. It fell nearly a point in one day. So it really impacted them in a negative way.
Totally.
And I want to point out, it is a new day in Canada. Very progressive policies. In comparison to the U.S. dollar, though, their loonie is lagging. And it says more about the strength of the dollar than it does about the weakness of the Canadian loonie.